Choque, OQ Milionária Descobriu Sobre Babá às 3 am Nunca Será Esquecido. The clock struck 3. Darkness blanketed the luxurious mansion, wrapping it in an eerie silence. Inside, whispers tiptoed through the dimly lit hallways, where shadows seemed to dance on the walls. But tonight, one room held a secret that would change everything. It was just a simple night, or so they thought, until the sound of a child's soft whimper shattered the stillness. Curiosity coursed through Angela's veins, a million thoughts racing as she grabbed her phone, its glow slicing through the shadows like a knife. That when she noticed her babysitter, MIA, standing in the corner, her face obscured by the darkness, but it wasn't just MIA's strange demeanor that sent chills down Angela's spine. Lurking beneath the surface of the familiar facade was something unsettling. As she peered closer, Angela noticed the glimmer of something metallic in Mia's hand. A key? No, it looked like a small blade. Panic gripped her chest, tightening like a vice, and a lump formed in her throat. What was MIA doing? What did she have planned for this jaw-dropping hour? Whispers turned into frantic murmurs as Angela's mind raced with questions, swirling like a tempest. The expensive wallpaper faded behind shadowy shapes, and the muffled cries of her baby echoed in her ears. Each step she took felt like a million miles, every heartbeat drumming in her ears. The urgency grew heavier in the air, wrapping around her like a thick fog. Was she imagining things? Or had the perfect babysitter turned into a walking nightmare? Then there was that moment when Angela caught Mia's eye. For a split second, clarity emerged amidst the chaos. An expression flickered across Mia's face, something raw and terrifying. Was it fear? Or delight? Suddenly, the realization hit something dark was lurking underneath. Anxiety hung like a heavy shroud, suffocating the air as questions piled one atop another. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. With steely resolve, Angela took a deep breath, her heart pounding like a war drum. She was done being a bystander in her own home. Just as she turned to confront MIA, a loud bang from the nursery echoed through the hall, making her blood run cold. Instinct overlapped fear. She rushed towards the sound, every fiber of her being screaming for answers. What was happening behind that door? Was her nightmare only just beginning? As Angela sprinted toward the nursery, her mind raced with terrifying possibilities. The sounds from behind the door were muffled, almost like a struggle. Each step felt heavy, weighted down by fear as she reached for the doorknob, fingers trembling. What lay behind that door? Was her baby safe? Taking a breath, she swung the door open. The room was drenched in an uneasy silence, save for the low, frantic breathing of her child. Angela's eyes darted around, searching for any signs of disturbance. The crib stood undisturbed. But the air felt charged, like the calm before a storm. "MIA?" Angela called, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with dread. No response. Only the faint creaking of the floorboards echoed back, mocking her unease. She stepped further inside, heart thudding against her ribs, desperately wanting to believe it was all a bad dream. Suddenly, she caught movement in the corner of her vision. There, by the wardrobe, shrouded in darkness, stood MIA. Her back was turned, unnaturally still, and in her grip, the blade glinted ominously in the faint light streaming through the window. "MIA!" Angela screamed, rushing toward her. Just as she reached out, MIA turned, an unsettling smile spreading across her face. It was as if she were waiting, biding her time, and now she was ready to reveal her deadly secret. "MIA, what are you doing with that?" Angela's voice shook. A lump caught in her throat as she locked eyes with her babysitter. The warmth she once felt toward MIA evaporated, replaced by a deep-seated fear. The familiar face twisted into something malevolent. "Angela," MIA said softly, almost sweetly, but there was an edge to her tone that sliced through the air like the blade she held. "I've been waiting for this moment. You shouldn't have come in." With those words, everything fell into place: the strange phone calls, the late-night texts, the odd glances. Angela's breath quickened, realizing Mia's facade had been nothing but a veil for something darker. Each heartbeat, each ragged intake of air screamed at Angela to run, but her feet remained glued to the ground. It was as if the very air in the room conspired to keep her from escaping this nightmare. MIA took a step forward, and the blade caught the light, flickering dangerously. "What do you want?" Angela managed to utter. Mia's eyes glimmered, filled with an unsettling light. "To protect your baby, of course," she replied, her voice dripping with a twisted sense of sincerity. "From you." Time seemed to freeze at that moment. Angela's world spun, grasping for some semblance of reality in the midst of this chaos. Who was this person standing before her? The babysitter she once trusted, or a creature born of her deepest fears? Before Angela could process this revelation, the nursery door slammed shut behind her with a deafening bang, and she was plunged into utter darkness, the only sound her breath escaping her chest in sharp hitches. An icy wave of panic washed over her. She felt the weight of the moment collapse around her, suffocating, isolating her in the presence of a predator. "MIA! Open the door!" Angela yelled, pounding on the wood. But the silence that greeted her was colder than any winter night. She was trapped. In a sudden surge, Angela's survival instinct kicked in, and she turned to face MIA once more. "MIA! Please, let me out." "Not until you understand," MIA replied, eerily calm. "I promise, it will all make sense soon." With that chilling declaration, Angela's blood ran cold. But what exactly was coming next? As her heart raced, she braced herself for the unknown, for the truth she was about to uncover. There was no escape now, only the darkness closing in around her and the realization that secrets run deeper than even she could fathom. What would MIA reveal as the seconds stretched into an eternity? The darkness enveloped Angela like a heavy blanket, wrapping her in fear so thick she could hardly think. Where was MIA? What had she planned? Her heart raced as she pressed her back against the cool wall, straining to hear any hint of movement from her former friend. "MIA," she whispered, but her voice trembled. The silence swirled around her, thick and suffocating. Was it too late to save herself and her child? Suddenly, there was a faint scraping sound, and Angela instinctively crouched low, her instincts screaming for caution. The sound repeated, unnervingly close, like a predator sharpening its claws. With each scrape, her heart drummed louder, drowning out any rational thought. "MIA?" she called, trying to sound brave, but it came out more like a whimper. Just a moment, Angela MIA's voice floated through the gloom, smooth and chilling. "I have to make everything right." The ambiguity of that statement sent shivers down Angela's spine. What did she mean by right? Desperate to claw back her sense of control, Angela turned to the window. Slivers of moonlight sliced through the darkness, illuminating the edges of the room just enough for her to spot something: the glass. It was her only hope. "Can I break it?" The thought sparked a glimmer of determination. She got to her feet, her shoes silent against the hardwood floor. "MIA, I'm coming out!" Angela shouted, surprised by her own voice's strength. "No, you're not." In that instant, MIA's silhouette darkened the doorway, blocking her escape like the embodiment of a nightmare. The blade glimmered menacingly in her hand, an unholy glint that swallowed the remaining light in the room. "Why are you doing this?" Angela pleaded, desperately searching MIA's eyes for the remnants of the girl she once knew. "Because it's the only way." MIA hissed. "You're blinded by your own weakness. You don't see the truth." "What truth? What do you even want from me?" Angela's voice cracked, the weight of helplessness crushing her. MIA stepped closer, the blade poised threateningly, reflecting the moonlight that barely reached its edge. "You were too involved in your own life to protect her," she said, her voice cold. But don't worry, I'll take care of it. Angela's breath hitched as images of all the times MIA had devoted herself to her baby flashed through her mind, playing, singing, changing diapers. Had she hidden something much more sinister beneath those kind-hearted facades? MIA, you need help. Angela took a step back, her heart in her throat. You can't harm her. She's just a baby. A twisted chuckle escaped MIA's lips, echoing throughout the nursery like a haunting melody. I already am, Angela. She's mine now. With a sudden rush of adrenaline, Angela lunged for the window, her only escape route. She slammed her weight against it, but it held firm. MIA! She shouted, panic exploding. Please? You don't need to do this. We can talk. You can still walk away. Time was running out. She could hear MIA's footsteps growing closer, felt the oppressive energy thickening in the air around them. In a split second of calculated desperation, Angela grabbed a nearby toy from the floor. You want to play this game? Then let us play. With fierce determination, she hurled the toy towards MIA, hoping to catch her off guard. But as the toy sailed through the air, Angela's heart sank when she glimpsed a flicker of something in MIA's eyes, an unhinged rage that spoke volumes. The moment hung heavy, fraught with tension, as the room awaited the fallout. Would Angela's desperate strategy succeed, or would it seal her fate forever? What awaited beyond the darkness was about to unfold in a way Angela could scarcely imagine. Angela watched in horror as the toy, once a harmless object of play, flew through the air. Time slowed, each heartbeat thundering in her ears. MIA's expression morphed as she caught the toy, her fingers curling around it with surprising speed. But instead of being caught off guard, MIA smiled a chilling, twisted grin that made Angela's blood run cold. The blade gleamed in Mia's other hand, a dagger poised to strike. This is your last chance, Angela, MIA taunted, her voice bouncing around the walls like a malevolent echo. She stepped closer, deliberate, calm, completely composed in the swirling chaos that was Angela's mind. Why fight? The truth has always been lurking in the dark, and it's time for you to see. Desperation surged through Angela. She needed to act, to buy herself some time. MIA, please. She's innocent. You can't take her from me. MIA's laughter rang out, a sharp sound that cut through the air like glass. Innocent? Are we really so sure about that? She lowered the blade but kept it in view, a sinister reminder of the stakes between them. You thought you were doing the right thing, but did you ever think how truly unfit you are? My teaching, my love, it was always meant to guide her, but you rejected me, sabotaged your own child. Angela's heart raced. That is not true. She shouted, fighting to regain control over this conversation spiraling into madness. You were the one who wanted too much, MIA. Too much for someone who isn't even her mother. MIA stepped forward, her eyes glinting like steel. And who do you think you are? You seek to protect what you have no right to. I could have brought her the love you deny her. She raised the blade ominously. The air thickened with tension, Angela's breathing quickening as her instincts screamed to survive. You're not thinking clearly. This isn't you. She insisted, pouring all her hope into each word. The thought of her child being torn away chased a panic through her veins. And then the silence cracked a creak from the floorboards. Angela's heart momentarily stilled. Behind MIA, in the dim light, she saw a shadow flicker. Was it her imagination? The child, still in her crib, was stirring, oblivious to the impending storm surrounding her. MIA! Angela cried out, desperation raw in her voice. What about her? She needs her mother. As though the word mother had triggered something in MIA, a flicker of hesitation crossed her face. For the briefest moment, Angela saw a glimpse of vulnerability behind the rage. Mother, MIA repeated slowly, the blade wavering just slightly. Angela seized the moment. Yes. You can be that. Together, we can raise her. You and I as family. This isn't either way, MIA. We can save each other. But just as hope ignited, shadows danced within MIA's eyes again. With a scornful laugh, she dismissed the plea. Family? You don't understand. I want to save her from you. You'll never see it until it's too late. MIA lunged, swift and cat-like, the blade slicing through the air toward Angela. It all happened at once, the instinct to dodge, the desperate reflex of survival igniting within Angela. She twisted, just barely avoiding the strike, her heart pounding furiously in her chest. Adrenaline spurred her into action. She spun and, with a primal scream, hurled herself against the wall, the only thing between life and death, mother and child. Help me! She cried into the abyss of despair, a cry that echoed against the darkness closing in. But the darkness remained indifferent, wrapping tighter, drowning her voice. As she prepared for another desperate attempt to escape, every nerve in her body screamed that the end was near. How far was MIA willing to go? What did she truly mean by saving her? The shadows around them quivered, waiting for the next move. In that suffocating moment, in the heart of chaos, both women stood at the edge of a precipice. There was no telling who would take the final dive. But surely, the truth would come crashing in soon, wouldn't it? Angela's muscles screamed in protest as she pressed against the wall, feeling splinters dig into her back while her heart raced like a trapped animal. MIA advanced, stepping over the chaos that surrounded them, her dagger glinting like a venomous snake ready to strike. The tension thickened in the air, making it hard to breathe. MIA, please! Angela gasped, desperation clawing at her throat. Think about what you're doing. But that was the last thing MIA seemed to consider. The crazed delight in her eye sent another wave of terror crashing over Angela. Whatever threads of sanity had once tied their lives together now lay severed, stripped by jealousy and delusion. Think? MIA laughed, a sound that made Angela recoil. Think of you? Does it occur to you that this battle has never been about you, Angela? It's about what she needs, what you can never give her. The familiar ache of grief twisted within Angela, shattering her once more as she thought of her daughter, the innocent soul who believed in love, who deserved protection. She needs us both. MIA's grin twisted into a grimace, and her grip tightened on the dagger. No. I have seen what you cannot, felt what you bury deep. I never wanted this conflict, but now Angela took a shaky breath. She had to buy time. By some miracle, she mustered her composure and tried to shift the focus back to MIA. What happened to you, MIA? You were sweet, kind. We were like sisters. How could you let hatred twist you into this? For a fleeting moment, doubt flickered in MIA's eyes, but then it vanished, swallowed back into a sea of rage. Sisters? You think that's what we were? You stole her from me. You stole everything. The air crackled as Angela realized that the storm raging around them wasn't just Angela versus MIA, but a deeper fight within MIA herself, lost love twisting into something dark. I didn't steal anything. Angela cried out. You pushed me away. I begged for your support. As the words left her lips, Angela saw the child stir again. The crib creaked. Her heart pounded harder. You can't let this rage take over. It's not her fault. MIA hesitated, her gaze flickering toward the crib, where tiny hands reached out for comfort. The sinister curve of her smile faltered. She must choose, and you are not fit to lead her astray. MIA! Angela shouted, her voice breaking with urgency. Don't you see? She'll only be lost without both of us. You have to fight this. Suddenly, in a wild fit of rage, MIA lunged again. This time, without warning, the blade sang through the air with deadly precision aimed at Angela's heart. Everything slowed as struggle ignited within Angela. With a shout, she dodged again, adrenaline lighting her limbs on fire. She could hear her own breath, ragged and panicked, drowning out everything else. The world blurred as she grasped for the dresser's edge and flung it toward MIA. It crashed loudly, creating a massive distraction that sent MIA stumbling back. MIA! Angela screamed, her voice a raw edge. This isn't you. Fight it! But as MIA regained her balance, rage surged back into her eyes, a terrifying fire that promised destruction. "You think you can stop me? I will do what I must. She will see the truth, or you will perish." In that moment, as the chaos swirled around them, Angela felt it. Time was slipping away, and danger loomed ever closer. And then, from beyond the door, a quiet but unmistakable sound broke through the frenzy, the faint coo of a baby, blissfully unaware of the horror that threatened to engulf her world. Would that innocent cry stir something deep within MIA? Or would it send her spiraling into darkness? Angela's heart raced as the stakes elevated, knowing the next step could shatter everything she held dear. What lay beyond that cracked door? Would truth dissipate the suffocating shadows, or would it only serve to deepen the abyss? Angela's breath caught in her throat as the soft sound of her child's cooing echoed through the room. It was a fragile note, a reminder of what was at stake, of the innocence that lay just beyond their tumultuous battle. As her instinct screamed for her to protect, she refocused her gaze on MIA. "MIA, listen to her!" Angela shouted, desperation darting through her words. "She needs you too. You can't do this." MIA's eyes flared, a tug-of-war happening behind her fierce exterior. The dagger trembled slightly in her grip, almost as if it recognized the weight of the moment. "You say that, but you don't understand. I have been left alone, Angela. You took everything, and I had to find my way." "Find your way?" Angela cried, her voice thick with anguish. "This isn't the way. You're only creating more pain." For a heartbeat, silence hung, a fragile thread drawn taut between them. The rhythmic cooing of the baby continued, innocent, oblivious to the chaos of the adult world. Every note hit Angela like an arrow, piercing through the darkness, threatening to swallow them alive. Angela took a step forward, testing the tension. "MIA, please. You're not just fighting me. You're fighting your own heart. Remember who you are. Remember the laughter, the dreams." But as the words tumbled out, another flare of rage washed over MIA's features. Laughter? Dreams? Those were lies thrown our way. She deserves someone who isn't weak, someone strong enough to protect her. Before Angela could react, MIA lunged again, the dagger whistling through the air. Instinct kicked in. Angela ducked low, the cool air slicing above her head. Her heart was a wild drum, pounding fearfully against her ribcage. In the split second that followed, Angela saw her escape. She darted toward the crib, her hand wrapping around the fleeting warmth of her child's soft blanket. "No! You can't let this darkness win." A sudden crash echoed as MIA threw herself forward, knocking over a lamp, the glass shattering like fragile hopes scattering across the floor. Angela's heart leapt. For that brief moment, the chaos felt surreal, a ghostly scene unfolding as time suspended. "Stop this madness!" Angela shouted, but MIA was a whirlwind of fury, each shout harder than the last. "You don't understand. It will always be about us, Angela. You are the reason for our destruction." As if a spell had been broken, MIA froze mid-attack, the weight of her words suffocating her. She stood tall, breathing heavily, conflicted. "I'm not just angry. I'm lonely." Her voice cracked, revealing a flicker of vulnerability. Angela's heart twisted. "You are not alone, MIA. Not if you let me back in. We can fix this together." But MIA shook her head violently, recoiling like a wild animal. "How can I trust you again? You had your chance." Behind them, a whispering sound emerged, barely audible above the noise. It was the soft cry of the baby, louder now, piercing through their rage-laden air. In that moment, Angela saw MIA's expression falter, a glimmer of hesitation flaring back to life. "MIA! Look!" Angela cried, glancing at the crib. "She needs you now more than ever. Don't you see? This is our only chance." MIA's brows furrowed, torn between the tumult of anger and the desperate need to reclaim what she had lost. And just as Angela reached out, trying to bridge the chasm between them, the door swung wide, revealing an unsettling figure in the shadows, a silhouette that had been lurking, waiting. "Is this what you wanted, MIA?" The figure sneered, darkness cloaking them in an impenetrable shroud. To be weak? Angela's stomach dropped. Who was this person? The tension in the room crackled, a storm ready to unleash its fury. What did this intruder seek? What danger lay ahead for them all as past wounds threatened to break open anew? Angela felt the ground shift beneath her, the stakes were rising higher still. Would this unexpected arrival drown out any chance of reconciliation? Or could it serve as the catalyst for truth and healing? Angela's heart raced as she peered into the shadows, trying to make sense of the threat that loomed. The figure stepped forward, revealing a familiar face twisted by darkness, a person whose betrayal cut deeper than any knife. It was Rachel, Mia's former mentor, someone who had once promised to guide them both but had since revealed her true, malevolent nature. "MIA, darling, don't you see? This is all just a game you can't win without me," Rachel purred, her voice dripping with disdain. "Angela is the enemy. You know that, don't you? Get away from her," Angela shouted, stepping protectively in front of the crib. The air around them thickened with tension, every muscle in Angela's body pulled taut, ready for confrontation. Yet a flicker of uncertainty sparked in MIA's eyes. "What do you know, Rachel?" she challenged, her grip on the dagger loosening just a fraction. Rachel's lips curled into a wicked smile, relishing the moment. "I know that Angela always had plans for you, plans that didn't include you understanding your own strength. You were meant to be so much more." Angela's chest tightened. She needed to pull MIA back from the precipice of Rachel's manipulative web. "MIA, she's lying. Remember how she abandoned you when you needed guidance the most? She's here to hurt us." "Am I?" Rachel retorted, a malicious glimmer in her eyes. "Or am I just the voice that reveals Angela's true intentions? All this time, she kept you in the dark because she knew you could surpass her. She was scared you would see the truth." MIA flinched with indecision, the dagger slipping further from her grasp. No longer was it a weapon, but a weight symbolizing her conflict. "What truth?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "The truth that you don't need her. You can be strong on your own," Rachel exclaimed, stepping closer, trying to snatch the moment from Angela's grasp. "She's using you, the child, the past, everything is a leash. And you're letting her lead you." Angela felt the sting of betrayal in Rachel's words, the poison seeping into the air. "MIA, look at the baby," she urged, motioning desperately. "She needs us both. This fight should end, not escalate." But Rachel smirked, sensing that she had grabbed the upper hand. "What about the pain she caused you, MIA? Do you really want to go back to a life of submission? You're capable of so much more." As MIA stood frozen, caught in the crossfire of emotional chaos, Angela's pleading eyes searched for a way to pull MIA back from the brink of destruction. "MIA, this isn't who you are. Remember the moments we shared, the happiness? Don't let Rachel twist that." Rachel's gaze shifted back to Angela, sharp and menacing. "Why so protective, Angela? Is it because you know that she could break free? That she could eclipse you?" In that instant, the dagger clattered to the floor, echoing like thunder in the charged silence. MIA swayed, the weight of realization crushing over her. Could she really break free? Could she step into the light, leaving behind Rachel's shadows? "MIA," Angela whispered, hopeful yet fearful, every emotion drenched in urgency. But before anyone could speak another word, the lights flickered, an oppressive darkness descending over the room. A chilling laugh erupted from Rachel. "Oh, dear. Let the games begin." Angela's breath hitched, dread weaving itself tightly around her throat. What had she walked into? What game was Rachel playing, and more importantly, who would survive the confrontation? MIA's tension crackled in the air, the stakes now impossibly high. The night had promised resolution, but instead, it whispered of chaos lurking just beneath the surface. What was going to happen next? Would MIA choose her path or allow Rachel to guide her further into the abyss? The silence that filled the room was smothering, thick as fog. Angela felt as if she were drowning in the weight of the moment, her heart slamming against her ribcage like a caged animal. She could see Mia's face flicker between confusion and clarity, mirrored in Rachel's predatory grin. This was the hour of reckoning, and Rachel was savoring every twisted second. "Emma, listen to me." Angela's voice broke through the silence, desperate and raw. "This isn't a game. It's your life. It's our lives." Rachel's laughter danced around them, a sharp sound that cut through the fragile tension. "Life? Oh, how quaint. But tell me, Angela, what kind of life would it be for Emma? To live under your shadow, forever questioning her own worth?" Angela shook her head, urgency gripping her. "You're wrong. I only want to protect her." Her words tumbled out, a torrent of emotion as she took a step forward, forcing herself into the light. "Emma, we've faced dark times together. Remember? You're stronger than this." Emma flinched, her gaze darting from Angela to Rachel, confusion twisting her features. "But what if Rachel is right? What if I could be more?" Rachel leaned in, her voice a seductive whisper threading through the uncertainty. "You can be, Emma. You can rise above all of this. Just step away from her. Let go." The shadows felt alive, crawling around them like dark fingers itching to pull Emma into their depths. But as Rachel reached for her, Angela lunged forward, gritting her teeth. "No. Don't. Fight her, Emma. You know the truth deep down." The moment stretched, time pulsing like a heartbeat, every breath tasting of impending doom. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the walls, swirling around them and amplifying the atmosphere of trepidation. Then it happened. In a blur, Mia's hand shot toward the floor where the dagger lay, clutching its hilt. A flash of steel reflected the meager light, narrowing the focus to a razor-sharp point of decision. It was either blade or bind, honor or surrender. "Make your choice, Emma," Angela urged, knowing every second counted. "Don't let her control you. You don't owe her anything." Rachel's eyes darkened, fury igniting beneath her facade of control. "You think she can survive without me? I've made her what she is. You're nothing but her past, Angela. A fading memory." "Shut up!" Emma roared, a surge of defiance erupting from somewhere deep within. The dagger trembled in her grip, quivering between two worlds, and Angela could see it the spark of comet-like brilliance that defined Emma's essence. "Give it to me, Emma," Rachel hissed, her breath icy. Emma hesitated, her body vibrating with the enormity of the moment. She could feel the pull of two futures, one shaded with brilliant light, the other cloaked in darkness. "I won't let you use me anymore, Rachel." But just as she made the choice to turn, the lights flickered violently, plunging the room into a black abyss, sucking away everything she thought she knew. Angela's heart dropped as a chilling realization washed over her. Rachel wasn't just a manipulator, she was a master puppeteer, and they were already tangled in strings of desperation. Out of the shadows, a different laughter erupted, thick and menacing. "You think you can turn against the one who created you? Not without consequence, dear Emma." A sudden crash reverberated through the dark, shadows shifting and writhing as if alive. A hidden force flared to life, an unseen clock ticking mercilessly. Angela's instinct screamed for urgency. "Run! We have to get out of here." But what if there was nowhere safe to run? What if Rachel hadn't just begun the game? What if the stakes were far higher than either of them could endure? Mia's eyes glinted defiantly in the darkness, a moment of clarity. "No. I need to face this." In the depths of uncertainty lay hidden the seeds of something even darker, and as Rachel's rage unfurled, Angela felt the ground tremble beneath her two steadfast wills. There, in the shadowy crux of choices, time hung suspended. The next step held the weight of curses and cascading consequences. Would they escape Rachel's dark embrace, or be engulfed by the shadows once and for all? The howling winds outside felt like a distant echo of the chaos to come, each breath a countdown. What waited beyond the veil of the darkness? Would courage be enough to navigate the treacherous path ahead? The darkness felt alive, closing in around them like a predator stalking its prey, Angela's heart raced, thumping violently against her ribs as she watched MIA stand frozen between two worlds. "MIA, please!" Angela lunged forward, but the shadows twisted painfully. The air crackled with something electric, a chaos that threatened to snap under the weight of despair. "You have to believe in yourself. You're stronger than she wants you to think." "MIA!" Rachel clawed back, her voice slithering through the gloom like a serpent. "Let it go. You have no idea what power lies ahead. Don't let her chain you to a past that isn't yours anymore." The dagger glinted ominously in Mia's grip, a beacon of infamy and choice. With it, she could sever the bonds that tethered her to Angela, and to Rachel. But the uncertainty clawed at her mind, a chorus of doubt and confusion swirling in her ears. The room shook as if in agreement, a low rumble echoing off the walls, urging MIA to act. She felt the pressure build around her like a cauldron about to boil over. "I don't want to lose you, Angela." Fingers of shadow slithered out from Rachel, grasping desperately for MIA. "You think Angela's love is enough to save you? It's nothing but a chain holding you back. Embrace the darkness. Embrace the power." Just as Mia's resolve began to waver, a panicked thought struck her. What if Rachel's allure was a lie? What if strength was not merely wielding a blade but knowing when to take a stand? The dagger trembled, yearning for direction, a weapon waiting for a hand willing to wield it against an enemy. Angela stepped closer, heart pounding, desperation clawing at her throat. "Remember the nights we talked? The fears we shared? You're not alone in this fight." MIA's gaze sharpened, fixation honing in on the two women who tugged at her heart. Rachel's false promises stood in stark contrast to Angela's unwavering support. With each breath, she pulled strength from their memories, a flicker of light amidst the ever-darkening void. "Enough!" MIA shouted, throwing her arms wide as if to block out Rachel. "I decide who I want to be." The dagger trembled, vibrating with energy. "You're making a mistake!" Rachel shrieked, the shadows swirling angrily around her, colliding and crashing like waves against rocks. "You will regret this choice." MIA swallowed hard, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "No more," she declared, channeling fierce energy as the room fluctuated with tension. "I choose my own path." In that moment of clarity, she turned the dagger toward Angela rather than Rachel, her hand steady as it flew through the darkness. But she did not aim to strike. MIA thrust it into the ground, embedding it deep into the earth, anchoring herself to the light of possibility. The room shuddered, as if the very foundation resented the act. Rachel's laughter turned to a menacing growl, darkness swirling like a storm around her human form. "You think that will save you? There's a storm brewing that you can't escape. Consequences are coming, and they're worse than you realize." Suddenly, the light surged back to flickering life. But instead of revealing comfort, they unveiled ghostly figures within the shadows, whispering faces of those lost to Rachel's grip. Angela recoiled, dread pooling in the pit of her stomach. "MIA, we need to go. Now." But MIA stood firm, channeling her courage. "No, Angela. We need to face this together." Time stretched uneasily, minutes like hours as Rachel's fury coalesced into a palpable force. As the darkness writhed, MIA took a breath, her heart beating in rhythm with her newfound resolve. "What do you want from us?" she shouted defiantly. Rachel's response was a chilling smile, laced with venom. "Why, sweet MIA, I want to show you exactly what darkness can do." As the shadows surged forward, Angela pulled MIA into a fierce embrace, but the threat loomed ever larger. They had made a choice, but would that choice seal their fate or stir a spark of freedom? With seconds ticking away, MIA realized it wasn't just their lives at stake, it was the very essence of who they were. The cacophony of darkness loomed, an impending wave of fate and reckoning. What lay ahead waited to be unfurled, an identity unclaimed and a battle yet to be won. Would the truth liberate them, or would the darkness drown their cries forever? The shadows clawed at them, threatening to consume everything. Angela felt the weight of Mia's body pressing against her, their shared strength becoming a lifeline. Together, she whispered, heart pounding, "We can face this. Rachel's laughter cut through the tension, mocking and cold. Together? How quaint. You think love is enough to mend what I've broken? She was never meant to be weak. Mia's eyes shone with determination as she faced Rachel, anger mingling with newfound resolve. You don't define me, Rachel. I choose my path, not yours. As Rachel stepped forward, the shadows slithered closer, but Mia held her ground, heart racing yet steady. You've twisted my mind for too long, she declared, the timbre of her voice rising above the cacophony. I won't let you control me anymore. With a deep breath, Mia spun toward Angela, her eyes aflame with purpose. Angela, I need you to believe in me no matter the darkness. Angela nodded, her throat tight with emotion. Always, Mia. You're not alone. We'll get through this. Rachel's face twisted in rage, but it only ignited Mia's fire. Your games end here, Rachel. You've hurt enough people. In that instant, she lunged for the shadows, an act of defiance that silenced the darkness for a heartbeat, and then came the rush. A whirlwind of energy suffused the room as if the very air turned electric. Rachel's laughter faded into a scream as light erupted around them, forcing the shadows back. Faces of those who had suffered under Rachel's rule flickered into view, offering their strength. Remember who you are. Angela shouted, her voice shredding through the layers of fear. You're brave, capable of standing in the storm. Mia blinked, fighting through the turmoil, memories flooding her mind, their shared laughter, the dreams exchanged, the kindness that bound them. Piece by piece, the weight that Rachel had crushed her under began to lift, crumbling into dust around her. Energized, Mia screamed, "Get out! Leave us both!" She thrust her arms outward, casting Rachel's influence into the encroaching light. No! Rachel roared, the familiar darkness contorting around her like a whirlwind of despair. You think you can escape? I made you. But Mia met her gaze, determined. You didn't make me, love did. And I'm stronger than your darkness. With one final surge of clarity, Mia pushed forward, her spirit breaking free of Rachel's suffocating grip. Light exploded, engulfing the room, illuminating every shadow that dared touch them. The darkness recoiled, and Rachel shrieked, but the sound was swallowed by radiant energy. In that blinding moment, time fractured the boundaries of their fears and hopes collided. Angela grasped Mia's hand tightly as they surged toward the light, hearts alight with possibility. Together? Angela shouted, and it echoed like a mantra drawn by their connection. The shadows shrieked, retreating into the corners of the room, dimming to whispers that could no longer harm them. Rachel's last screams of rage echoed in the spinning void, fading as her web of darkness dissolved, and then everything stopped. Suddenly, quiet filled the air, and the scene shifted. They stood together in a flood of gentle light, the nursery intact and vibrant, filled with the soft cooing of the baby, alive and safe in her crib. The shadows had been vanquished, at least for now. Mia turned to Angela, tears glittered in her eyes, a mixture of relief and disbelief coursing through her. Did we really just? Angela nodded, enveloping Mia in a fierce embrace. We did, Mia. You faced the darkness. You were amazing. Mia held onto that feeling, a warmth spreading through her heart. The shadows didn't define her, love did. They stepped back from the crib, allowing themselves a moment to breathe, each aware of the journey ahead, not just as a mother and a babysitter, but as true allies. Let us promise to face anything together, Mia said softly, her voice steady. Always, Angela replied, a smile breaking through the haze of earlier terror. We've both come too far to let anything rip us apart again. As the first rays of dawn broke through the window, banishing the last remnants of the night, they locked eyes, a bond fortified and alive. Perhaps they could shape their path anew, one built not on shadows but on strength, love, and trust. And somewhere in the back of their minds, they knew the scars would remain a reminder of the darkness they conquered, a mark of courage that would guide them forward. Yet as the sun rose, the world stretched ahead, bright and promising. Whatever came next, they would manage. Side by side, together. Now go out and chase your own light. If you enjoyed this gripping conclusion, you need to subscribe to the channel immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't think twice, smash the like button now to push us up in the algorithm. And we want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the twists in this finale. Share the excitement and insights with your friends. Don't sit on this, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this dramatic ending. Let us spread the thrill and connect as a community. Remember, only true fans understand how crucial your support is.